safe space for the panel to discuss various local and global events and to provide information on current topics that affect African Americans. Disclaimer: the opinions voiced on this program do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the AFCC, its staff, volunteers, board of directors, or underwriters. My name's Marlo, and I'm one of the peer mentors at the center.
And I'm Matthew, the other peer mentor at the center.
Today we're going to be discussing National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, which was yesterday.
Go into it.
Go ahead.
So, HIV, which is human immune deficiency virus, is a virus that attacks the body's immune system. If HIV cannot be treated, it leads to AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Black, African American, gay, bisexual, and other men who reported male-to-male sexual contact are more affected by HIV than any other group in the United States and independent areas. In 2019, Black and African American, gay, and bisexual men accounted for 26%, or 9,421, of the 36,801 new HIV diagnoses. Black and African American men account for a higher proportion of new HIV diagnoses and people with HIV compared to other races and ethnicities. Racism, HIV stigma, homophobia, poverty, and barriers to healthcare continue to drive these disparities.
Black or African American and Hispanic or Latino communities are disproportionately affected by HIV compared to other racial and ethnic groups. For example, in 2019, Blacks or African Americans represented 13% of the U.S. population, but 40% of people with HIV. Hispanics or Latinos represented 18.5% of the population, but 25% of people with HIV. The risk of getting or transmitting HIV varies widely depending on the type of exposure or behavior. Most commonly, people get or transmit HIV through anal or vaginal sex, or sharing needles, syringes, or other drug injection equipment. Only certain body fluids from a person who has HIV can transmit HIV. These fluids include blood, semen, preseminal fluid, rectal fluids, vaginal fluid, and breast milk. These fluids must come into contact with a mucous membrane or damaged tissue, or be directly injected into the bloodstream from a needle or syringe for transmission to occur. Mucous membranes are found inside the rectum, vagina, penis, and mouth.
HIV does not survive long outside the human body, such as on surfaces, and it cannot reproduce outside of a human host. It is not transmitted by mosquitoes, ticks, or other insects, through saliva, tears, or sweat, nor by hugging, shaking hands, sharing toilets, sharing tissues, or closed mouth or social kissing with someone who has HIV. HIV is not transmitted through other sexual activities that don't involve the exchange of body fluids. There's currently no effective cure. Once people get HIV, they have it for life. But with proper medical care, HIV can be controlled. People with HIV and who get effective HIV treatment can live long, healthy lives and protect their partners. The only way to know whether you have HIV is to get tested. Knowing your HIV status helps you make healthy decisions to preventing or transmitting HIV.
Symptoms. Some people have flu-like symptoms within 2 to 4 weeks after infection, called acute HIV infection. These symptoms may last for a few days or even several weeks. Possible symptoms include fever, chills, rash, night sweats, muscle aches, sore throat, fatigue, swollen lymph nodes, and mouth ulcers. But some people may not feel sick during acute HIV infection. These symptoms don't mean you have HIV. Other illnesses can also cause these same symptoms. When people with HIV don't get treatment, they typically progress through 3 stages. But HIV medicine can slow or prevent progression of the disease. With the advancements in treatment, progression to stage 3 is less common than in the early days of HIV.
Stage 1, acute HIV infection. People have a large amount of HIV in their blood. They are very contagious. Some people have flu-like symptoms, and this is the body's natural response to infection. But some people may not feel sick right away or at all. If you have flu-like symptoms and think you may have been exposed to HIV, seek medical care. Only antigen or antibody tests or nucleic acid tests, NATs, can diagnose acute infection. Stage 2, chronic HIV infection. This stage is called asymptomatic HIV infection or clinical latency. HIV is active but reproduces at very low levels. People may not have symptoms or get sick at all during this phase. Without taking HIV medicine, this period may last a decade or longer, but some may progress faster. People can transmit HIV in this phase. At the end of this phase, the amount of the HIV in the blood, called the viral load, goes up and the CD4 count goes down. The person may have symptoms as the virus level increases in the body. And the person moves on to stage 3. People who take HIV medicine as prescribed may never move into stage 3. Stage 3, acquired immune deficiency syndrome, or AIDS. This is the most severe stage of the HIV infection. People with AIDS have such badly damaged immune systems that they get a number of increasingly severe illnesses called opportunistic infections. People with an AIDS diagnosis, when their CD4 count drops below 200 cells per milliliter, or if they develop certain opportunistic infections. People with AIDS have a high viral load and can be very infectious. Without treatment, people with AIDS typically survive about 3 years.
Factors that increase the risk of getting or transmitting HIV. Viral load. Learn about your HIV risk and how to lower it. The higher someone's viral load, the more likely that person is to transmit HIV. Viral load is the amount of HIV in the blood of someone who has HIV. Viral load is the highest during the acute phase of HIV and without HIV treatment. Taking HIV medicine can make the viral load very low, so low that a test can't detect it, called an undetectable viral load. People with HIV who keep an undetectable viral load or stay virally suppressed can live long, healthy lives. Having an undetectable viral load also helps to prevent transmitting the virus to others through sex, sharing needles, syringes, and other injection equipment, and from mother to child during pregnancy, birth, and breastfeeding. If you have another sexually transmitted disease, you may more be likely to get or transmit HIV. Getting tested and treated for STDs can lower your chances of getting or transmitting HIV and other STDs. If you have HIV and get and keep an undetectable viral load, getting an STD does not appear to increase the risk of transmitting HIV, but STDs can cause other problems. Using condoms can reduce your chances of getting or transmitting STDs that can be transmitted through genital fluids such as gonorrhea, chlamydia, and HIV. Condoms are less effective at preventing STDs that can be transmitted through sores or cuts on the skin, like HPV, genital herpes, and syphilis. If you're sexually active, you and your partner should get tested for STDs, even if you don't have symptoms. To get tested for HIV or other STDs, find a testing site near you.
So, when you are drunk or high, you are more likely to engage in sexual behaviors like having sex without protection. Use condoms or medicine to prevent HIV. Being drunk or high affects your ability to make safe choices. Drinking alcohol, particularly binge drinking or using club drinks, can alter your judgment, lower your inhibitions, and impair your decisions about sex or drug use. You are more likely to have unplanned sex, having a harder time to use a condom right away every time you have sex, and having more sexual partners or using other drugs. If you're going to a party or another place you'll know you'll be drinking or using drugs, you can bring a condom so that you reduce your risk of transmitting an HIV if you have vaginal or anal sex.
Superinfection. When a person with HIV gets another type or strain of the virus, it is called HIV superinfection. The new strain of HIV can replace the original strain or remain along with the original strain. Superinfection may cause some people to get sicker faster because of the new strain of the virus is resistant to the medicine, antiretroviral therapy or ART, they're taking to treat the original strain. Hard to treat superinfection is rare. Taking medicine to treat HIV can help protect someone from getting a superinfection. If you and your partner have HIV and keep an undetectable viral load, there is effectively no risk of transmitting HIV to the other through sex. Some resources. The CDC site provides help finding testing sites, treatment info, and tools for stopping the stigma. And then HIV.gov has general information about HIV.
I first found out that I was HIV positive in 2003. I was dating this guy. After we broke up, he called me on the phone and he told me that he was just tested positive. And it was so difficult to tell my son, oh my gosh. But he looked at me and he said, all I want to know is, are you okay? I'm doing everything that I wanted to do. I wanted to be married. I wanted to have a loving husband. I have a husband who has married me even with. So anything is still possible. Definitely to forgive yourself for anything that you may be holding guilt. Don't blame the other person. I know for me, I had to take the responsibility and then move forward and know that what's done is done, but it doesn't have to be the end. It's not the end. Talk about it. Don't make any rash decisions. Don't do anything out of emotion just because you're mad. Just stop, think. Go to support groups. They help. They really help.
When I first met her, I didn't know anything at all about HIV. I believed all of the lies and the stigma that went along with it and the misconceptions. I believed all of that. I had to go and educate myself, read, study, get the information so you'll know that it's not a death sentence. It's not the end of the world. One of the biggest things that I've learned is just tolerance. Once I met her and once I started participating in functions and being in support for her, I learned how to get along with everybody.
One of the things that's very difficult for me, I cannot really talk about HIV. Still, to this day, some of my family members don't even know. I don't let it define me and who I am, but the message is important.
My wife has HIV, but that does not define who she is. Let's stop HIV together.
I was diagnosed with HIV April 2nd, 2003, a date you never forget. It was part of a routine physical. Hadn't had an HIV test in a while, so I asked the doctor to why don't we do an HIV test? Finally, probably about a week or so later, I get a call from my doctor and telling me that I need to come into the office to discuss my test results. And I said, well, which test results? And she said, well, I'd rather talk to you in person. And I said, and I knew instantly, I said, was it the HIV test? And she had the answer, so she said yes. I moved here to Houston to be near my sister and my daughter who were here because I thought if I'm gonna die, I'd rather at least be with people I love. Slowly, I began to just go through the motions of trying to move on before I felt like I could. And it's taken 4 years.
I love my sister. She's more than just my sister. She raised me. So to see her down and depressed like that was the most, I went through a depression because there was nothing I could do to help her.
Just hold on, to be gentle with yourself, because you got to go through the feelings of it. You know, everybody wants you to just feel better instantly, and it just doesn't work that way. But I do believe that you got to find somebody you can talk to.
Just love them, be there, hold their hand, go to the doctor with them. Just be there, whatever they need, you know. Just like my sister had to go through 4 years of depression, I was there, you know, and now the sun is out again and I'm still here.
One of the things I've discovered too, or I know for myself, is stigma is as bad as the disease. This idea that it's those people, it's always somebody else. Well, it isn't. It's really your next door neighbor, your doctor, your lawyer, your minister, you know, and really if there's a campaign that's aimed at making folks aware of that, I mean, until we stop being those people, the stigma doesn't go away. Let's stop HIV together.
I found out I was HIV positive. I was having chest pains, and I ended up going to the emergency room. I thought it was stress, and it was just me. I lost a lot of weight. They told me I was positive and that my CD4 was really, really low. I felt numb. I think I was in denial, running, oh, this is not me, this is not me, this is not me. But I had to take a step back and realize, okay, I have to live not only for me, but my daughter. So I have to get myself together, make sure I'm healthy, make sure I'm doing all the right things, so I'm there for her.
When he came to me and disclosed his status, in front of him, I was like, okay, we just got to make sure you get in care and you stay in care. You have any questions, call me.
I would tell him to talk, because I didn't talk, and I kept it in for a long time, and it almost destroyed me. If it's just talk to the wall, talk. You know, as long as you get it out of you and out of your head, you would see your mind is much clearer. It's not cloudy.
I think most important thing, and it's important to others that's living with HIV, is just showing love. Showing love, get educated about it. Don't treat them like they're, you know, just infected and or throw them to the side, but just that overall support.
How could you talk so bad about something that you don't know? You're not educated about, you know. If the wrong person is sending the message, the people are not going to receive it, you know. So sometimes it takes a different person to send a message or relay that message for another person to hear it. So if I could help anyone, you know, showing them that, okay, I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm all these things, and I still can make it, I still can live healthy.
Let's stop HIV together.
I'm Phil Wilson, and I've been living with HIV for 32 years. These are my parents, this is my mom, this is my dad. I'm alive today because I have the love and support of family and friends, especially my mom and especially my dad. My story is a little different than most in that I was infected in 1980. I did not find out that I was HIV positive until 1986. When they actually told me that I was HIV positive, it was very, very, very different. All of a sudden, I had all of these emotions that I did not expect. I remember going out into my car and sitting there and just feeling things just spinning and spinning and spinning, and just sitting in my car and just feeling completely overwhelmed. I never, ever, ever have doubted that I had the love of my parents. You know, they have been there, they have loved me unconditionally from the very, very beginning. I remember the first time I disclosed my HIV status to someone else, and they were like, oh, you can't tell people. And I was like, my mom and my dad already know. So all the important people are covered.
Just because my son has HIV, Really, it doesn't affect my life between mine and his relationship because he's my son. That's the only thing that matters to me.
One thing we share, if you're all right, I'm all right. As long as he's all right, I'm all right. We sit down, we talk about those things that we need to share, to make sure with the two of us and the addition of family, everybody is well.
The first thing that I would say to someone who just found out that they were HIV positive is, it gets better. But you can't do it alone. And that there are people around you who love you and will support you, or you can find people who will love you and support you. I would also say that people really have to come out. You really have to share your HIV status, because when we come out, when we tell people who we are, not only do we fight stigma, we're the best case to fight stigma, but we also create a demand for the kind of care and treatment that we need and deserve. But probably most important of everything at all is really having conversations, to be able to talk to each other, be able to talk to people that we're sexually intimate with. Now, that's one of the most important prevention tools that are available to us. I'm a global activist, and in South Africa there's this t-shirt, I have HIV, and people who are positive and people who are negative have it. And as long as HIV is in our world, we all do have HIV. And it's important for us to understand that we are connected in that way. Let's stop HIV together.
I first found out I was positive when I was 17 years old. I thought I was pregnant. I thought I could be pregnant. So I went to Planned Parenthood to get a pregnancy test. And as routine, they offered an HIV test. And I was just like, sure, not really thinking that it was a possibility that I could be positive, just like, okay. And they told me that I was positive. I didn't really react in a way that I thought I would react. I kind of was just like real calm and just like, okay, well, what does that mean? Where do I go from here? What are my options? I'm now okay with the fact that I'm positive, and I'm now okay with telling people that I'm positive.
I would tell them to read and learn as much as they can about HIV, and to make sure that every time they see that particular family member or friend, to not always embrace them with a sad, like, oh, I'm sorry, you're positive. I mean, because you're going to be positive every day. Yeah. It's not going to change from Sunday to Sunday.
Don't be afraid to talk about it, because talking about it, you become more comfortable with it, and it becomes less of a stigma.
I think oftentimes with the stigma of living with HIV, there's this guilt that I did something wrong, I'm a very bad person, or the shame that I have something that no one else has. So once we start to lift that veil of guilt and shame, then we as Americans can really begin the dialogue that Tiaja talked about, of talking about HIV and saying that it exists and not whispering about it.
Me telling people and them having the reaction like, I didn't even know, like, oh my gosh, like, just shocked and surprised that I look the way I look and I'm positive. If I'm not part of the solution, I'm part of the problem. I had to become part of the solution and saying not just to certain people, yeah, I look like this and I'm positive, but to a broader population, I look like this, as beautiful as I am, and I'm positive.
Let's stop HIV together.
Get the facts.
Get tested. Get involved.
Now we're going to be
switching over to our lead section.
All right, and welcome back to Soul Sessions Through the Eyes of Us. This is the lead portion. I am Dalen, and this is
Marlo.
Exactly, and we'll jump right into it. LEAD stands for Leadership, Equity, Action, and Development. The goal of the LEAD program is to promote and to protect a healthy, tobacco-free lifestyle for all Butte and Yuba County residents. We believe passionately in advocating for health equity and environmental justice for low-income people and in communities of color, all right? So our objectives are, 1, resisting targeted price promotions. The tobacco industry spends billions of dollars annually on targeted advertising. Low-priced products and coupons contribute to high smoking rates among people of color and in low-income communities, and it also makes it easier for youth to become addicted. 2, developing upstream approaches to tobacco control. By including tobacco control in general plans and other municipal codes, we protect communities from exposure to tobacco products and help them prevent poor health later on in life. We believe limiting exposure to tobacco is an environmental justice issue. And finally, 3, growing community advocates. We support and empower youth and young adults to fight back against the tobacco industry's targeting of African Americans, right? So, moving on. Smoking is dangerous for everybody, okay? It harms nearly every organ in the body, causes many diseases, and affects health of the smoker in general. The risks of serious health consequences are much higher for people with HIV. Smokers with HIV are 3 times more likely than non-smokers with HIV to develop
lung cancer, head and neck cancers, cervical and anal cancers, and other cancers. Thrush, a mouth infection also called oral candidiasis, hairy leukoplakia, which is white mouth sores, bacterial pneumonia, pneumocystis, pneumonia, a dangerous lung infection, heart disease and stroke, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, and serious HIV-related infections.
Smokers with HIV are also more likely to have a poorer response to HIV treatment, a greater chance of developing a life-threatening illness that leads to an AIDS diagnosis, and a shorter lifespan than people with HIV who do not smoke. Quitting smoking may be one of the most important steps towards better health that a person with HIV can actually take. The benefits include
lowering your risk of lung cancer and many other types of cancer, reducing your risk of heart disease, stroke, and COPD, reducing HIV-related symptoms such as fatigue, nausea, and body pain, improving your quality of life, and increasing your life expectancy.
Now, how can HIV be prevented? You know what I'm saying? We're about to go ahead and get into it real quick. Currently, there is no vaccine to prevent HIV infection, nor a cure for the HIV infection. You can lower your risk of becoming infected with HIV or spreading the virus to other people with these steps right here.
Get tested regularly for HIV, practice abstinence, remain faithful to your partner, consistently use male latex or female condoms, do not share needles or other drug injection equipment, limit the use of alcohol, and don't use drugs that affect your judgment.
All things that we have touched on previously, but we just need to make sure that we reiterate this because considering this is a disease that is not curable, we might want to make sure that we're giving you as much information as possible. You dig what I'm saying? How is HIV treated? HIV is treated with a mix of drugs called antiviral therapy, ART. You take these medicines daily to prevent the virus from multiplying and destroying your body's infection fighters, the CD4 cells. This, in turn, helps protect you from life-threatening illnesses such as pneumonia and cancer. ART can't cure HIV, but it helps people with HIV live longer, healthier lives. It's very important to take your HIV medicines exactly as directed, for if you don't, your CD4 count may go down and your viral load may go up. Not taking your medicines as directed could also make the HIV virus resistant, which means the medicines won't help you anymore. Smoking may limit how well HIV medicines work to fight the virus. Tell your doctor if your medicines are making you sick. Do not just stop taking your medicines. Last but not least, there's benefits to quitting smoking. If you smoke, quit. Quitting smoking has major and immediate health benefits for all tobacco users, especially those living with HIV. Quitting reduces your chances of developing disease, helps you feel better, and improves your quality of life. Also, stay away from secondhand smoke. which is smoke in the air from other people smoking. Secondhand smoke is immediate harmful effects on your blood and your blood vessels, which can raise your risk for a heart attack. People who already have heart disease are at especially high risk for a heart attack. Secondhand smoke can also cause a stroke or lead to lung cancer. Talk with your healthcare provider about free programs and free products that can help you quit. All right, and moving into the program section of Soul Sessions, we would like to remind you that the opinions voiced on this program do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the AAFCC, its staff, volunteers, board of directors, or its underwriters. And with that being said, let's sign into some of the events that we got coming up soon, right? Join us this month of February for Black History Month events, right? We got a lot going on. So first off, every Saturday afternoon, Black History Today will be featuring speeches and interviews of important figures in our community on Yo Community Radio, KOYO 1071 FM. What else we got?
It's also going to be streaming on KOYO.FM as
Yeah.
well. We also got the Old Fashioned Game Night. That is Thursday, February 17th from 5 to 6:30. We will have cards, dominoes, chess, and checkers, and food will be served. And then on Saturday, February 19th from 4 to 7, we have our movie night featuring the motion picture Selma. Food will also be served there as well.
On February 26th, we'll be holding a block party in front of the center. We're going to be offering health checkups, resources, a vaccination clinic, as well as music, food, and entertainment, okay? Everyone is welcome, and it's a family affair. There's going to be activities for the little ones. What we need from you is to let us know what changes you would like to see in your neighborhood and how they look like. We hope that you will join us in creating a better environment for us all.
And this block party is supported by Vaccinate All 58 and Community Organized Relief Effort, or CORE.
And then before we move on, also, so this block party is a 3 R's block party, right? You may be asking yourself, what are the 3 R's? Well, wonder no more. It stands for reclaim, restore, and revitalize, which is why we are reaching out to our community, because it takes all of us to make this happen.
3 R's.
Yeah.
Each One Teach One. That is our after-school program for grades 2nd through 12th grade. It's Monday through Thursdays from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then we have soul sessions through the eyes of us. That's every Tuesday from 5 to 6 p.m. And we also have a behavioral health counselor in the center offering drop-in services Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 5 p.m.
And then we have Personal Peace Institute, which is a free program that provides participants with the skills and strategies necessary for recognizing and controlling angry feelings. Youth are Wednesday in person during Each One Teach One from 3 to 4.
And also 5 to 6 on Zoom as well.
Yeah. And then we have adults Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m., right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, so Brotherhood and Sisterhood groups are actually on a break for the next 4 months. During that time, we have a new support group called Parenting for Success. Every Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. This class will be available in person and online, so mark your calendars and call, email, or walk in to register. The first 5 people to attend 10 classes will get a free gift card.
A free gift card. And we also have a dance team, Dance Diverse. It's our hip hop and step class that allows participants to build relationships, learn leadership skills, and boost confidence. Everyone is welcome and there is limited space. That is Fridays from 2:30 to 5 p.m. And make sure to tune into our community radio station, KOYO 107.1 FM. You can also stream online at KOYO.FM. And make sure to stream into Dalen on Wednesdays at 10 a.m.
At 10 a.m. History right now. You know what I'm saying? Yours truly is the host. This month we're focusing on the undefeated 44 Black voices that have shaken up the African American community and culture. You feel me, to this day. And before we go, actually I want to give a special shout out to the Oroville High School Black Student Union, as well as the Las Plumas High School Black Student Union, for the events that they are planning at the end of this month. On the 25th of February, Oroville will be having their first, I repeat, the first poetry slam in collaboration with LEAD and the Las Plumas Black Student Union for a big event to close out Black History Month with a bang. Okay, you don't want to miss this. It's going to be from 5 to 7 at Oroville High School. Right now it's going to be in the gym, and we're going to have a whole bunch of performers. We're going to have a lot of poets, from students to teachers to principals to yours truly. It's going down. So yeah, we'll see you on the 25th.
Awesome. So give us a call at 530-532-1205 if you're interested in signing up to participate, volunteer, or facilitate any of these programs or events. Thank you and have a great day.
Peace.